It's time to talk about the box office, and sadly, Tron Ares is going to lose a lot of money, and Black Phone 2 has hit number one at the box office. Let's break this down by reading this article from Variety, as it states that box office Black Phone 2 grabs 26.5 million in otherwise muted October weekend. Universal and Blumhouse horror sequel Black Phone 2 kicked off the spooky season with 26.5 from the North American theaters. Those ticket sales were enough to lead otherwise a sleepy weekend in the domestic box office. Black Phone 2 opened in line with expectations and slightly ahead of its predecessor. The original Black Phone launched with 23 million in 2021 as theaters were only starting to recover from COVID. And just to give a sense of the vastly difference of box office landscape between the first and the second film, with almost identical ticket sales, Black Phone opened in fourth place behind Elvis, Top Gun Maverick, and Jurassic World Dominion in the height of summer movie season. Black Phone 2 has collected 15.5 million at the international box office for a global tally of 42 million. Though a promising result, Blumhouse and Universal spent more to bring back Ethan Hawke as the serial killer known as the Grabber. The sequel cost 30 million to compare to the first film's 18 million price tag. Black Phone 2 has decent reviews, but wasn't received as fondly as the original by moviegoers. This film earned a B grade for a B grade on similar store exit polls, while the first landed a B plus grade. Uh, yeah, since the ticket sales are split roughly 50-50 between studios and movie theaters, Black Phone 2 needs to stick around to count as a major comeback to Blumhouse. The low-budget movie empire responsible for Paranormal Activity, The Purge, Get Out, and Halloween, and other franchises with very good profit margins, has long been one of Hollywood's most assistant hitmakers. However, the company fortunes has shifted over the past year with one dud after another, including Wolfman and Megan 2.0. Blumhouse has another sequel coming out this year in December, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Now, unfortunately, another film struggled. Another film that struggled to get out of the woods is Tron Ares. So far, the futuristic film has earned 54.6 million domestically and 100 million worldwide. After 2 weekends of release, though the 100 million mark is notable, Disney spent 180 million to produce and many million to promote the sequel, so Tron Ares acquires additional staying power to justify those costs, which I don't think it's going to. It's not going to. 154 mil. The film needs to make 480. It needs to make 480. That ain't happening. This is going to be the last Tron film, at least for a while, or since forever. It's just people don't have that nostalgia with that original film, or the aesthetic of it doesn't look that appealing to the general public. I actually really think for the general public, I could be wrong, and people who've seen the film apparently are liking it. With outside like the critics, which are a little bit split on the film, the you know it's just I wonder if Tron just comes across as generic sci-fi. It's like futuristic bikes and frisbee discs and stuff. Like in my guess, it doesn't really grab people as much as people think it does. I once again I could be wrong, but it has to be a thing about like what did the reason why doesn't Tron appeal to the general public? Because it clearly it appeals to like nerd circles and the online circle, and it clearly appeals to people who are a big fan of that original film, which was a cult film. It wasn't a giant hit that original film that came in the 80s. It wasn't that massive of a film, but it had a cult following. So there's that. It's just it ain't gonna hit that 480 mark. Now with Black Phone 2 though, them saying like, okay, why is he saying that it needs, is this hitting the, you know, Blumhouse having a wacky year this year, and this is the attenuation, and maybe it's them having a comeback of the snub that Wolfman and Megan the 2.0 gave. Look, Five Nights at Freddy is gonna make money. It's gonna make money. People who are big fans of that franchise, uh, for a lot of people that is their game. So I think there's going to be a lot of appeal, a great appeal with that movie. It's surprising it's coming out in December though. Like that's the month that Avatar comes out. So I'm curious how that's going to play out. I'm curious how that's going to play out. So, but with Black Phone making 26 mil, and it's Blumhouse that spent 30, like 30 mil, like 30 times 2.5. Look, it just needs to make 75 mil. And it's going to. It's going to break even. Blumhouse is quite known for making very cheap movies. Compared to everyone else. Well, everyone else is spending like over 100 mil for films that could easily make, could cost 80 or something. Blumhouse knows how to spend little but make more. So they're gonna be fine. Now it's interesting, and also horror is niche. Like horror is a quite niche genre. As much as people talk about horror and how powerful the horror community is, it's still a niche. With every there's like 100 other films coming out that just makes 20 something mil. Um, and what gives people a opportunity to go maybe a Black Phone 3 is by if the movie makes like 200 mil, 300, 200 mil. That's what it's going to be. Which gives people a lot of confidence for people who like, even though it as Yaku says, not audiences are not saying it's better than the first one, if they still enjoy this version of a slasher film, that it can kind of bring that audience in, so you can and also I think it's a business thing. It makes a lot of money. Clearly, people want to see more of it, so let's make a third one. So I do feel like if there's going to be like the Black Phone trilogy, it's gonna happen. But yeah, but also here's the thing: like everybody talks about, you know, the October, how October there's so little coming out. So yes, look, like if you look at what's coming out in November, it's insane. Like you have Predator, you have Now You See Me 3, you have The Running Man, you have Wicked, and you have there's a fifth film coming. Oh, Zootopia 2. Now, some of them are going to make more money than others, but there's a lot of like big budget films coming out in the next month that people might be like waiting on. So because people there's talking about how there was Good Fortune, which was a comedy not making a lot of money, and Wolfman not making a lot of money, And it shows like comedies. I think for the general public now are movies that you're happy to watch at your home. Drama is the same, unless your name is Christopher Nolan. Unless your name is Christopher Nolan, and you can make a movie about the creation of the atomic bomb, and make nearly $1 billion out of it. Unless you're him, dramas don't really do that well. And I think dramas for a lot of people are films that you see on Netflix, films that you see on streaming. The big budget films are what you see. Um, the big budget movies is what you see on the big screen. It's just it needs also appeal and look good and stuff like that. So I know I'm stumbling around this one, but yeah, it's just trying to get my thoughts across of it and what could the reasons be for X, Y, and Z. But yeah, anyway, comment below. Let me know your thoughts of this week's box office.